Here from healthfulpursuit.com. I'm the best-selling author of The Keto Diet, The Keto Diet Cookbook, and Keto for Women, and I'm here to chat with you today about continuous glucose monitoring. Yeah? And I just got into these new glasses, and you can kind of see my ring light in my glasses, so let's just get that out of the way now. I've tried to position it properly. I've tried to do a couple of videos not wearing my glasses, and guys, I can't see, so it's just not working out. So if you haven't watched my #1 video on continuous glucose monitors, I will put the link right up here and down below so you can check it out. So I've been wearing this bad boy for 14 days. It is just about to expire. In fact, when I went to bed last night, when I woke up this morning, and now every 20 minutes, it's like, change it out, change it out, change it out. And I'm like, I'll get to it. Now I think it's totally dead. So I wanted to kind of share with you the last 14 days of wearing the CGM, what it's been like for me. If you don't know what a CGM is and you're like, what is Leanne talking about? Check out that video. I'll link up to it here and down below. So I was really nervous to get the CGM, and I talked about this in the last video. Now into 14 days, it's kind of like I don't really think about it. Oftentimes I forget that I'm wearing it, or I forget to scan it, which is so great that it keeps the 8 hours, which I really, really love. I've gotten really used to the Levels app. At first, I was a little bit frustrated. It didn't make sense to me. Now it's making a ton of sense to me, and now that I know how to use it, it's so much easier. A couple of things that I love is that it's kept me very honest with my eating style. It encourages me to fast longer. It encourages me to not snack before bed. It's encouraged me to just be more conscious of my food choices. On the flip side, when I say add a sweet potato to my meal, when I'm doing a carb up, if you don't know what this is, I'll link up here and down below on that. But when I do a carb up, then I'm like, well, I mean, my glucose is messed up already. I might as well have something else. And so it's been really interesting to kind of play with the no, Leanne, you know that a sweet potato makes you feel really good, and this is just what's required, and yes, your glucose is gonna spike, no big deal. Another thing that I was not expecting, but I so should have expected, which I've loved about the continuous glucose monitor, is to see how sensitive I am to insulin and how my blood glucose changes throughout my cycle. This has been the coolest part to using it over the last 14 days. So when I installed this bad boy, I was on, what would that have been? Day 13, 14 of my cycle. So I was just about to ovulate. Now I say this in Keto for Women and Happy Keto Body, my 12-week video training program for women developed by myself and a doctor, that our requirements throughout our cycle changes, and especially on a ketogenic diet where you are massively reducing a macronutrient, carbohydrates. Okay, we're going to need to shift things as we go through our cycle. And having this bad boy on here and then seeing from the time I ovulated, I became less sensitive to the foods that I was eating. I could eat a little bit more carbs and it wasn't spiking my glucose as much. And when I was doing activity, my body was responding better to it. And then it slowly got worse and worse and worse and worse into my period where 3 days ago I had an acorn squash, okay? A quarter of an acorn squash, and my glucose increased to 130. And I was like, what? And I got really frustrated, and then I'm like, oh, right, I'm on my period. And so this just confirms to me so deeply, and it's so validating that when I'm on my period, it's steak and seafood and meat and carnivore protein, all the meats, love it. And so now that I am on day 6 of my cycle, about that, I don't even know. I think my numbers aren't adding up, but my period is just about done. And I'm finding last night I had chickpeas with olives and a bunch of stuff didn't make a difference. And so this just validates for me how important it is to eat for our cycles. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to eat with your cycles or for your cycles, I'll include some resources down below that you can check that out, and I'll include a card up there. So benefits has been sticking to my eating style, being a lot more on top of what I'm eating, when I'm eating. It brings a lot more accountability. Some of the frustrations, especially for me, has been dealing with the triggers and just being mindful that yes, my glucose is changing and it's okay. Another big thing for me and a huge lesson for me is when I eat foods that don't satiate me, even though my blood glucose, or rather glucose, remains quite steady. For example, we went out and had a very low carb meal, but it didn't have a lot of fat. And even though I tried to add enough fat, it still wasn't enough. And although my glucose maintained pretty level, then it started going lower and lower and lower, and I started getting hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. So that a lot of this, especially if you're an intuitive person like me with your body, is going to be like validation, validation, validation. Yes, I knew it. Now, if you're not, I could see it being very challenging to pull the pieces together using something like a continuous glucose monitor, though levels does go into your metabolic rate, which we'll talk about this in the next video. I'm not like huge into the metabolic percentage, and I'll explain why in the next video after I have some time. But Levels does go through the metabolic percentages and gives you a rating for your meals, and I love that, but it doesn't go into the intricacies of like your cycle and foods and hormones and how activity influences this, and perhaps it will in the future. But this is where I could see, and what I've brought into my one-on-one coaching, my keto coaching with my clients, is getting them, if it fits for them, getting them a continuous glucose monitor, and then me myself as a coach understanding the big picture, coaching them through. And that, I mean, oh my gosh, as a coach, that's been so helpful for me and so much more powerful for my clients, that we can sit down and really understand what's happening in their body. And this is such a powerful biomarker that we can use in addition to lab work and testing and all the things. So this has been 14 days with my CGM. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's not sending data anymore because it's been 14 days. I'm gonna take the day, you know what? That's not true. I'm gonna put the next one in right away, even though like I really wanna take a break, but I also wanna see the full 28 days. What is it doing? How is my body responding? How are my hormones influencing this? And it's all just really good stuff. So I'll be back soon with another update. And if me talking about CGM has you so excited that you wanna get one of these, I've included a link down below that you can use to sign up for Levels. The current, oh, my dog just came in. The current offer is that you skip the line with that link. So if you want to grab Levels and you need a resource, check down below. You skip the line that's 29,000 long and you get your Levels way sooner than most people. So let me know down below what you think, how you feel about CGM, and I'll be back in a week or so with my week 3 update. Okay, see you soon. Bye.